beautiful Saturday night right here on Fila FM 89.3. And today, Saturday, is the 7th day of June 2025. And being a Saturday evening, we welcome you to Love 360 right here on your Real Talk Radio. And trust me, we are honored to have you joining us on the show. We are very, very much honored having you to join us. So this whole month of June, we'll be looking at marriage and friendship. This whole month of June, that's what we'll be looking at, marriage and friendship. So when it comes to marriage is more than a legal union or a romantic partnership. It is a lifelong friendship rooted in trust, loyalty, and shared purpose. When friendship becomes the foundation of a marriage, it fosters emotional intimacy, safety, and companionship that can sustain the relationship through seasons of change and challenge. Spouses who are friends first tend to communicate better, resolve conflicts more effectively, and enjoy deeper connections. However, friendships outside the marriage can become a double-edged sword. Just understand that. Friendship outside the marriage can become a double-edged sword. So while healthy, respectful friendships can enrich a couple's life with support and perspective, unguarded or overly intimate relationships, especially with the opposite sex, can pose threats to trust and fidelity. Excessive dependency on friends for emotional support, secrecy, or giving priority to outside friendships over the marital bond can weaken the intimacy between spouses. The call, therefore, for the month of June 2025 of Love 360 is for couples to guard their marriage with wisdom, nurturing a friendship that is exclusive, life-giving, and honest, while managing external friendships with healthy boundaries and mutual respect. So just as I said, this whole month of June, we're going to be dwelling on marriage and friendship. So wherever you are, welcome once again. So beginning with today we're looking at friendship as the heart of a thriving marriage. Friendship as the heart of a thriving marriage. That is what we will be discussing tonight on Love 360. Remember, we are live on Facebook, Fila FM 89.3. So join us on Fila FM 89.3. And when you join, also remember to share for others to also benefit from our discussion. So as the discussion goes on from 9 going, I will activate the phone line, open the phone line, and then you can call to either contribute, ask a question, or maybe you have an experience that you would want to share with us on the show. We welcome that experience so much. So joining me tonight to discuss our all-important topic, I have Titus Osei Bobie. He is a relationship expert and a counselor, and also Rashid Suleimana Kawawa, history master, Ghana Senior High School. He's also a researcher and entrepreneur, as well as a business coach. Of course, Quincy Matthew is here, the more reason why we are live on Facebook. And I am your host, and my name is Kosia Kwatima Bachi. So, as you are joining us via ear, tell a friend to tell a friend to also tune in into the show and then listen to our discussion. Trust me, it will help their marriages thrive, Okay, and as Love 360, we always say keeping the passion alive. So if your spouse is not your friend, after listening to this whole month series, okay, of friendship in marriage, I'm sure that spark will be back in your relationship, in your marriage. So many thanks to you. My name is Akosia Kwatma Brache once again. So let me welcome Kawawa and Titus to the studio. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
Yeah. Kawawa. You have a coffee.
Because a salad and she. Back at the salad.
Back at the that was who got that
salad and she.
And then Joe watch Okay, so our topic, friendship as the heart of a thriving marriage. I don't know how many marriages, how many relationships or couples are friends to each other. I don't know, but I believe that that's the reason why we are here tonight. Yes, so that couples will see why they have to befriend each other. Couples will see and then they'll know why they have to befriend each other. So when we talk about friendship in marriage, let's look at it. I mean, once you're married, no friends together. So our friendship in marriage, what can we say? And that will be your opening comments on the topic. So when we talk about friendship in marriage, what is it? You want Kawa to start?
I thought it came with you, man. Let me give you the chance. Go and drink,
and I'll be down.
You're feeling I only help you to cry. Let me say Barka the Salah. Be Mubarak to our Muslim brothers and sisters, especially some of our friends. Shout out to the friends of ABBs, my friend Abu Hassan Azanji, the channel of FDP2, channel Kalmuna, the Ayuba was telling what the Pastor Dan yesterday that he said on his wedding day his best man was a Muslim, and I said I also had a Muslim as my best friend. Ayuba, my best man, a good evening, and to all my neighbors, I'm deeply in the midst of Muslims in my community. And I think it's one of the best community you can find in Tamale. Kalarga is one of the community with very low crime rate. Very low crime rate. And I've been telling people that if there's any theft case in Kalarga, especially on our side, then that means the person came from outside the area. Then shout out to all the young guys in Kalarga, Salman and Kwen, the Abyss. Okay,
yes.
You said the topic is what?
Friendship at the heart of a thriving marriage.
Okay, friendship. We know in any what we call community or society, the best ingredient that evolves that community or the community evolves around friendship. To be able to be familiarized with each other, know your strengths and weaknesses, and to be able to see the person as part of you. And when it comes to relationship, especially marriage, it cannot be said to be best than any place than in marriage. In every marriage, the building blocks should be based on friendship. I talk of the tripartite relationship. I think we discussed it here some time ago. And I believe for you to have any best marriage, it should be based on friendship. And a lot of divorce cases after the issue that people do not start their relationship based on friendship, and even to go beyond that to make it tripartite. Because of the other one, friendship, seeing the person as your sibling, and seeing the person as your loved one, these are the three ingredients that you can use to sustain your relationship and marriage, which I call the triangular relationship. Every marriage should be based on that triangular relationship. And the most important one is to start with the friendship, because it's at that basic level that you can discuss things mutually, or there can be mutual benefit to each other. And also it's at that level that you are able to create fun. In that level that you don't have what we call that kind of formal kind of relationship. It's so informal that there is an open space for discussion. And at that level too, you don't have a lot of confidentiality and also what I would call classified information at that level. So for you to have a very good relationship, it should start at the friendship level, so that you build it up, go into where you see your spouse or partner as a relative, that's the sibling relationship. Then you end it up with the love. And that's why if you don't start your relationship on the friendship basic, the friendship as the basic part of your relationship, and it can be when there is some kind of breakup or divorce, that's why the process becomes very what they call violent, and it becomes very bitter. Because when the friendship is there and you take off the love, you end up on the friendship. But when you take off the friendship, you end up on the sibling relationship. So to start with, I would just say that every relationship must start by seeing the person as your friend, so that you can have that mutual benefit. So that's what I want to start with.
Friendship itself is a whole topic to deal with. So I believe we have to spend time expatiating, that's the word, what it really means to be somebody's friend. Then probably cover it up in our marriage, because that is, we are saying it is the heartbeat of a thriving marriage, friendship. So who is your friend? There are different levels of friendship that we have to be clear. One qualifies to be called a friend. Actually, the dictionary will have some terminologies to differentiate between friends. The Bible will also put friendship at another level. So at each sphere of our social life, we can define friendship at different levels. If I should meet Kawawa at a conference or at a meeting, we vibe and I take Kawawa's number. Immediately I come home, I can tell somebody, oh, I had a friend at the meeting. But literally, Kawawa is not a friend. He doesn't even qualify to become a friend. At the meeting, he was an acquaintance. Someone I met at a meeting, we spoke. There are certain information I couldn't give. Yes, there are some people, the first time you meet, you're able to break some boundaries and talk. Still, they don't qualify as friends. They are just acquaintance. In the secular or in a light-weighted environment, yes, we call them friends. But on a deeper level, friends. So moving on into the comparatively to the marriage setting, there are people we see today and they propose to us. So like they have become love acquaintances. It's some of us, we accept their proposals immediately. So at that moment they become love acquaintance. Yes.
Love acquaintance.
Yes. Love acquaintance in that moment. Then we try to grow that environment to be friends in at the level that we are looking at. Then there are
the love at first sight.
Yes.
Love acquaintance.
Yes. It's a terminology I just got. So then you go to the friend we talk about. This one is, we always advise that people should create circles of friends. We have the outer circle friends, the acquaintance. We have those we talk to on a shallow level, those you talk to on a deeper level, and then the people you call your best friend. And even your best friend, you have best friend. Even if somebody has best friend for secrecy, best friend for chilling, best friend for all the kind of nonsense. That is how people have categorized their friendship. So friendship are on a different level depending on who is accommodating the other. Then we have the accidental friends. They are the friends who you didn't call, but in a certain circumstance they become your friend. There are friends you also intentionally choose based on certain criteria or something you have vetted them by your own standard or some way. Sometimes accidental friends are vetted and then you bring them into your closer circles. Okay, what I'm trying to highlight is that friendships are not accidental events as we all think it is. They are intentional. So if someone says somebody is my best friend, then at the back of your mind you have intentionally brought out a particular criteria that this person has passed certain tests and qualifies for you to call best friend. Because remember that this thing we are talking about, we are trying to put that in the heart of marriage. So it means that nobody decides that go to the street and pick somebody and say I want this person to be my husband. You intentionally accept proposal, you intentionally propose based on certain criteria. You intentionally decide to marry such a person. So with this small definition, you can see that someone has intentionally decided to become somebody's friend, or someone has intentionally decided to accept somebody as his or her friend. Then the person has gone through a process, and through the process this person deems this person fit to be a friend. Remember we said that there are some friendships that are not deep, some are shallow, some are whatever. All this kind of friendship we have I have outlined can lead to marriage. All of them can lead to marriage. You can meet somebody today and the person is telling you I want to marry you in 3 months time, and in 3 months you are married. You can meet them and they tell you I'm traveling in 6 months time, when I come back we are getting married, and true you go come back and you are married. Your friendship has not grown to a particular level, but you are married. Okay. So all this form of friendship, whether it is the chuchu-muchu, the best friend, the partner in crime kind of friend, all those ones can lead into marriage. I want to take category from the Bible. Principle says that there is a friend that sticks closer than a brother. That is what the Bible says. So among all your friends, one of them should be able to stick closer than a brother. That is the ultimate form of friendship. Somebody who is will act like more than your blood in whichever case or whichever form. These are the levels of friendship, or the various forms of friendship that are available to the individual. And we are trying to propagate the kind of relationship or the kind of activities that exist between all these forms of friendship into the marital environment, so that the marriage, no matter the conditions, you can still have a form of friendship or a form of relationship in that marriage. So basically, this is how friends are people you relate with at different levels, for different purposes, for different reasons, and in fact sometimes for different even benefits in that order, because these days there is a technology, the Gen Zs your friends are even stressed about you, and your husband, you don't want your husband to be stressed. You don't want your husband to be stressed.
Okay.
You come there, I'll throw more light on it.
Yeah, the stressful one.
Yeah, the stressful
More
one.
lights.
Yes.
But your husband, they are just talking about friendship, marriage, and we are not saying it is too stressful.
Okay, fine. See, your husband must be your friend.
But not best.
Oh, he can be your best friend. You see, there is as much as we are, that means we have to go ahead of you with your person. I'll go ahead of you on. Okay, so there are some roles our friends play in our lives. Some friends at different levels can accommodate certain information, and others can accommodate certain information. As we are saying that different friends can be categorized into different, there are some friends you never have to tell them who your boyfriend is. If they tell you have a boyfriend, just say, but never mention their names. But at the end of the day, there are some friends who intentionally ignore telling them, only for them to come and fight and say sorry. That is all they need. So the categories are there. So even among our friends, the danger that in the people who say my husband is my everything is that because they have tagged you as the husband, they want you to be the totality. Here they are. Life, their pain, their everything. When they mean everything, they really mean everything. But this is the case. There are some friends you can't tell them certain information. What if your husband is one? There are some friends, let me tell you one case. My husband is my everything. A woman once told the husband that, she is treating an infection, and that was the end of giving her in the house. Yes. At that moment, the man didn't handle how it would be the man who brought it to the house. For me, I always say, when it is the man brought it to the house. In most cases. So now there is a meeting almost. Yeah, if you put it through, now we can't blame the man in that much. So when the woman went to describe how the thing looks like, and the man was disgusted by the detailed description the woman gave. So in this case, this person was supposed to hear, honey, I'm sick, I'm not well. But this is a woman who wants the husband to be everything. So he described it without assessing the kind of information the husband can deal with. and at the end of the day, no more head. I didn't hear, but in Tomo Grown, you need to be hey, Tabubusi, Asa. Ayaka. Tell me, it's like a black yard there, but you see, I have this study the yard. Oh, 6 and so I started hand. I feel on the sick of and I said, thank you. One of them. So we know that even among friendship, there are certain information we don't need to. We weigh our friends and the information they can handle before we give to them. In that same sense, as much as we want our husbands to be our friend, what kind of friend can our husband be to us? We shouldn't dump a certain level of friendship on our spouses. That I want you to be my best friend. Maybe he doesn't have the capacity to become, but you still want the person to become what? Your best friend. It is going to be too stressful. Some husbands don't want to be friends with you at all. They want you to have a certain Enka only obigabo kuma kosere onu your best year here or you need to obia on capacity obia on ability obia on room to accommodate certain things. I believe that being a husband is a package. Okay, and yet just before you become a husband, you've gone through the process. As we are saying, it starts from a friendship level. So by that moment, I can know what kind of friend my husband can be to me in our marriage. So that I don't overburden the marriage or I don't overburden the man. Else you will become a disappointment. You should also know that among your friends, you should know the kind of friends they can be to you and don't overburden them. If you have a friend whose mouth is yabba and you don't recognize her yabba mouth, it means for that friend, if you are going to get married and you tell her within 24 hours, all the other friends, she can broadcast it for everybody to hear. The same way, if you tell her one of your secrets, if you don't take her, all your other friends are going. So this is how the friendship dynamics works among friends and how we can transition that into the marital environment.
Okay, so thank you very much. So I mean, not wanting your spouse to be your friend. Meanwhile, from your opening remarks, you said that the friendship starts when you meet, and even before you marry. So why is it that it is very easy to be friends when you are courting or dating, but then after the marriage, after the friendship, no, I have something which is there.
Something which is there.
I have something which is there. Yes.
Let me go into the anatomy of friendship for us to understand, because we are confusing acquaintance with friendship. Research has shown that you can only call somebody my friend if you have stayed together, shared common interests between 1 to 3 years, and some even put it to 5 years. And that after 7 years as friends, you are no longer friends. You are now siblings.
Okay.
And that's why you realize that friends that you have stayed with for 5 to 7 years, in most cases when you quarrel within 3 days, you come back. It's very difficult to bring that close friendship. So it depends on the level that you dated also before you marry. Because friendship is having a strong liking for a person and you trust that person. So you have to first build up, I like this person.
Yeah.
Let us ask ourselves, most of the marriages that we go into with the likeness. And definitely if you have some kind of acquaintance with somebody, automatically you like the person because there are some physical characteristics of a person that will make you like it. But the second phase of friendship is the trust. friendship is somebody you like and trust. So these two cardinal principle or points are very, very important before you can call somebody a friend. So the husband or wife you were married, did you like him? Most of them is like yes. Do you trust the person? Most of them is the
yes.
Is the negative. Now people have married people they didn't trust them. No. That's the trust the trust of benefits. Is the benefits of the friendship that made the person to go into that marriage. And most marriages these days, that's what it based on. Friendship has 5 cardinal principles. 1, it is trust.
Okay.
Mutual respect. High level of communication. Empathy and dependability. So this is what you need before you can call somebody a friend.
Empathy
and dependability. Let's ask ourselves, those relationships we are into, was that mutual respect there before even we said yes I do? Was that mutual respect? In most cases it's no. The high level of communication. It could be there are people even during dating and courting.
Yeah.
It could be when they go for outing. You can count the number of words they use in that outing. You can count when they are sitting on table. Some go for outing or courting, and the only thing they do is to fidget with their phones.
And then you have whatever.
So that level of communication is not there. Until you are able to have constant flow with the person in communication. That's why somebody can tell me, after my wife is no boring, after my wife, the husband is no boring, always they have something to talk. And that comes to what we call the compatibility. How compatible were you with the person? And that's where the friendship comes. If you say the compatibility, it doesn't mean you agree in totality with the interests and hobbies of the person. It means that there's room for what? Flexibility and room for what we call compromises. Your husband likes football. Maybe you like a different game. But you are able to shed off some of your interests and join your husband in the club or vice versa. So until we are able to build that trust beyond that I just like the person. And so it's just that I like the person. It's not I trust the person. And I can tell you, that's the reason why in marriages today, a woman has a plot, a house, and the man doesn't know where the house or plot is. Because the woman likes the man, and vice versa. I was listening on Facebook today, one lady posted some, what do we call it? Some message, or what do we call it? And what she said was that the men should always try and let their wives know their bank account or what do you call ATM numbers and also mobile money PIN. That the husband should always let their wife know of it. So immediately I saw that post. I said let me go and read the comment under that post. Because you could see how people lambasted the woman. Because she was saying that husband should let their wife know their PIN. But because they are dying in their numbers and the mobile telecos are taking, that the husband die and usually their wives don't know their the ATM.
It's a two-way thing.
That's what people. That's so. Is it the ladies are part of the problem? Is it only the men who die and so, or is it always that the men will die first? Why is it that the women too don't give their PIN or let the husbands also do the PIN? So that is where the issue of the trust comes. So until we are able to blend the liking with the trust, we cannot call that relationship friendship. And that's why most marriages are struggling, especially when it comes to the issue of communication, which is very, very important. when communication is broken down, that's why the issue of we don't have that kind of mutual respect for one another.
Okay, thank you very, very much. So we're still looking at friendship as the heart of a thriving marriage. So, like you said, it's mostly acquaintances,
Yes.
not friends, because to be friends, you have to spend like 3 or more
Years
years
with the
together.
person, understand your weakness, and that it is also the health issues of the. I know of my friend. I've been in friendship with my guy, somebody I can call my friend for almost 13 years today. I'm just from his house. He went to Accra and came, and we've been together. He's one person, among all my friends, he's one person I physically quarrel with. And within 3 days we were back. Not doing this. I've traveled and saw that one is something. But everything of the guy I know, and everything of the guy I can stand and say, no, this thing is not my friend who did it. And they can also vouch for that for me. We have created that kind of friendship. I know his health condition. Immediately he tells me he's sick. Then I say, oh, that's this your situation. Then he'll say yes. I just went there, he said he was sick and he was even admitted. And I said, oh, this is your problem again. I said, as you know. So this is the level of the opposite friendship we can create. People are there and they have health condition. Imagine, as my brother said, and the husband don't know of it. Now even don't know the days of the message of their life. And they stay together for 15 years.
Yes.
The man doesn't know the day my wife is getting a message.
Yes.
The day she's on ovulation. Yes. That means they've never even communicated on the issue of message and the flow and the issue of not even to talk of ovulation. So we go into the marriage with that issue of friends with benefits, with that issue of I just met you. That's why people can marry on social media. That's why they can marry on social media. They've gotten that kind of acquaintance. They've gotten that kind of familiarity. But they've not created that issue of friendship that is based on trust, that is based on mutual respect. How often do they even communicate? They've not created that room for communication. So until we go beyond that liking and move into the issue of trust and mutual respect, we cannot say we've gone into that marriage based on friendship. I've known somebody who was divorcing their wife and he wanted to use the car even to knock the woman down. Then can you call this one that the marriage was based on friendship? They just like the person. So that kind of triangular kind of relationship, tripartite kind of relationship was not created. And you see people who are divorced, who created the friendship, and because of some issue beyond their control, they broke up or divorced. And the people are still communicating and talking as if they are still in a relationship. Yeah. I know some people who have broken up with ladies and they're married. And they don't have any kind of romantic relationship with their past friends. If the person is in trouble, they still go to the aid of the person. And there are some, because that issue of friendship was not created before they went into that love relationship, they even quarrel and they see each other on the road and they look as if they've never met. So it means they get created by acquaintance, then they jump into sex and love and came out of it. And immediately love and sex feed, there's nothing that you are going to land on. But if it was a tripartite relationship, you either land on that sibling relationship or you land on that friendship relationship.
Okay. So, Titus.
Yes, madam.
It is obvious that sometimes this friendship needs to be cultivated, right? So, how do you move or transition from lovers to lifelong friends? Since marriage, as far as we know, it's supposed to be a lifelong something. How do you transition from being lovers to be friends? That is cultivating that friendship.
So we are moving from lovers to be friends in the marriage setting. Okay, so it should work the opposite way, from friends to lovers.
So the friends to lovers, no, it starts from there.
Yes.
But then the moment our hero ever now I say we relegate
The friendship. Okay. So, if I should pick from what Kawawa said, Kawawa is saying a set of actions is what brings about true friendship. And those set of actions makes the two individuals develop certain characteristics like trust, those kind of things that works. I would like to state that from Kawawa's statistics, 3 years, 7 years in that order, there are people you can know for those periods. But if I should ask you, who are your friends? You may not mention their names. You have not created certain. It means that for those people we are talking about, you may have created certain kind of bond, but other things don't exist. But there are friends you call friends but don't trust. Yeah. You can literally say, this is my friend, I don't trust him with a particular issue. So in the marital setting where we were friends, we have become lovers. In the setting of love, you know, love only tries when things are okay. When there is money, there is no interwa. So that is how one to quite know. I don't know who brother, go to me until you go food for 3 days. Why would you go also in some phone call?
Sorry for this mental health. People came to our church last week to give a talk on mental health. Example of how your department can go high and do certain as she was one day there, and when the husband was just going out and counted money and gave it to her. But immediately the husband left, she was confused and started working. Started working in the house. Of course, you work. And then just do. What I'm moving like that, that's the really fortunate. That's what comparing a deeper drug can do to people. Yes. So when the money is there, so these are two people who built a form of friendship before they became lovers. Now, you know, the degree of the strength of your friendship was determined not in the happy days, but in the down days of your relationship. The time there was no money, the time the person stepped on your toes, the time the person offended you, how you dealt with it. That will tell you that courting or dating is a mini marriage. You are only changing the title in that sense. So whatever response the person gave to you when you were dating in the form of friendship, when you become lovers and there are challenges, basically it's just a continuation. You can't tell me you are not having a conversation for more than 1 hour and all of a sudden when you got married you want your spouse to sit by you and have a conversation for 1 hour. It won't happen. I mean, where did the other extra minutes come from? Because you have not cultivated that. You can't tell me that this person as a friend always used to get angry at a particular thing and all of a sudden when we got married you want him to behave differently from there. Not at all. So the transitioning from lovers to become friends to help you thrive in difficult times, you know, let's say that friendship is being lovers is a higher form of friendship.
So if you take the love away, you are friends. A certain kind of friends you were when you were dating. So if you were best pals and you are lovers, when something happens and you forget you are even lovers, then you have to fall on being what? Best pals, yes. The level of friendship that you have been able to cultivate during your courting time, that is the level of friendship you can fall on as marriage couples. So if you didn't cultivate the do or die, I have your back kind of friendship whilst you were courting, or there were no challenges to bring out that portion of your, it's challenges that bring out the resiliency in us, and that is what tests our friendship to see whether we are friends on a particular level or not. So because when a friend who knows your secret, you go to a pub and the person start drinking, then your heart start beating because you know that so these are the from the lovers, the transition is just something you have already built. If you have not built it, it is there. Let me say this, that the fact that we were not in a particular way doesn't mean we cannot be that way. It is more difficult to build a kind of friendship you have not built in marriage, because as soon as you marry, there is no time. In fact, marriage, as soon as you marry, there are so many angles you are now looking at. You even forget you were friends then. Some men, when they hear they now become husband, their interpretation of husband is not the basis of friendship. They think they are lords. You understand?
Yes,
exactly. So I was, even today when I was coming, I was thinking that okay, so we want a form of friendship to exist between marriage couples, and we have described different forms of friendship. Do you know that there is also a kind of friendship that exists between a worker and the boss? A worker and the boss. There is a kind of friendship that exists. So even husbands who think they are bosses, you can still cultivate a kind of friendship in that environment that is there. One thing we are also not we are forgetting is that I can say Kawawa is my friend, but Kawawa in his mind, I am not what. So it's your friend. That is the point. Is the person you are calling your friend. So you may say your bae is your friend, but in your mind, your bae's friend is somebody else. So if my friend is Kawawa and Kawawa's friend is you, I will give all to Kawawa, but Kawawa is going to pour into you. And at the end of the day, that bond that we want to exist in friendship will not exist. That is what is happening in marriages now. Is that the woman will make the man his everything, but the man has friends outside that he's dealing with. If he wants to talk about something jokingly, he calls someone outside. But if both of us start sharing whilst we're dating, we share the jokes, we share the concern, the petty things as I would have done with somebody else. I have limited all those exposures, and I'm now trying to cultivate that level of friendship with you. Then we go into marriage. Then even when things get bad, we can fall on it. There are some marriages you can't share some jokes that you share with your friend. Why? Because you have not cultivated that kind of friendship. You can say your husband or your spouse outside, or when his friends come over to the house, this is the man who is laughing, he's sharing all that jokes, and immediately they leave. When you share the same joke, probably he was laughing at with his friend, the friend can call him good, and immediately you call him Joe Goat. That is disrespectful. You see, you have made the man your friend, but the man has not made you what? His friend. So it goes hand in hand. If what I'm giving to you is not the same angle you are giving to me, then there is going to be a form of confusion, and that is what I think we don't try to weigh when we are transitioning from friendship to love. And then when the love is becoming something else, we fall back to the friendship we have not built, in quotes, the friendship we have not built in our mind. We think that it is there. Some people can build a very nice friendship in their head. They can tell, as I said, in their head, yes. They can tell their friends all that there is about their friendship with their spouses. But really, that is not the evidence. You can't find that evidence in their house. You know how women can, mostly women, they can describe their husbands with the ultimate form of voice just to make their friend jealous about something. But you come to the house, look at that. So what I'm trying to say is that transitioning from lovers to friendship is not just by default. It is just a foundation. Let's take it that if being lovers is the roof of the building, then when the roof goes away, it is the pillars you built on that is what is left. So if you didn't build a good friendship level, then when your love roof moves away, you are going to fall on so you can't how do I call it, you cannot give what you don't have, and you can never stand on a foundation you have never built. Else, when the roof of love goes away, you have to painfully, and I'm using the word painfully and intentionally, cultivate the right kind of friendship before you roof it again with love. If I should meet Kawawa, a woman today, and I want to marry the woman, probably, you know, the people who say, hey, as for me, I'm 30-something years old, I want to marry quickly. You will find a woman who checks 2 boxes. Okay, Manchester is on point, Arsenal is on point, the rest we will think about it later. Then the woman also, because she wants it, hey, who doesn't want marriage? Go and marry me. You have not built any foundation for friendship. As soon as you get to the altar, remember that you don't have any foundation to follow when the love goes away. Else, there is nothing like that. You just fall the campaign, and that is where if you don't take care, your marriage with our just speak about some marriage where your power to keep the person with a cover. That's a bloody one. That's good. So that is a man without any friendship, any foundation. They have even if they were friendship, they were not mistake. So at the moment, we just battling, big train, and then acrimoniously at each other's throats in that sense. That's good.
So Akara, coming back to how important this friendship can be. Akara now telling me it's 19 minutes past 9 o'clock or what the fuck am I doing? So if you are doing this, then you can join
also have what we call the philia. This is deep friendship with philia. That's why you are in some kind of deep friendship with the person. But actually at that level, there are certain things that you cannot do for that friend. When you are in that kind of relationship, when it comes to certain things we discuss, but how to kill yourself for the person is another thing. When it comes to issue of death, you recall him or you try to move away from that. But we have the stooge. The stooge is that kind of friendship that exists within the family. We call it the family love. Because you know your sibling friendship cannot be like your outside person friendship. You know your sibling is also like your friend. And I always like this man, Kwame Despite, and the brother. What's the name of the brother? Kwame Despite. The one who gets like Ernest. Because you see how you don't know whether they are friends or they are siblings. Wherever you see Kwame Despite. So that amalgamated that kind of friendship and sibling relationship. Some brothers are there, you never see them together. Until there's a family issue, they don't communicate. So that kind of stooge family relationship is there. Then we have the ludus. The ludus is the playful laugh. You know, you can have somebody like we have our playmate, that's the ludus. You know, every playmate automatically becomes your friend. Is that Gagaos and the Gagabes and the Frafres, we Gunjes and Cesales. That kind of friendship we have is ludus. There's nothing binding that friendship. There's nothing communication going on in that kind of friendship. The playmate. Then we have what we call the agape friendship or love. This is what we should have before we go into marriage. The agape, which is unconditional. The unconditional one is what we are struggling for in our marriages and relationships today. The agape is to accept the person irrespective of who he is or she is, the flaws of the person, his advantages and disadvantages. You understand the person and you are ready to die for the person. The agape. But sometimes we go into what we call the mania, obsessive love. And let me now come to the issue. How beneficial it is. I would say for us to be able to have marriage that has mutual respect, a marriage that can stand the test of time, we should be able to develop that kind of friendship before we go into it. You see, and as my brother said, we should try as much to create that one before we go into the marriage. If you don't create, it is very difficult to give what we never cultivated in marriage. Actually, marriage is not a miracle that you go into it and you are transformed within a day. You are transformed within a year. Me, actually, as Kawawa, I can say marriage didn't change me. I went into marriage and I'm still the Kawawa I knew myself to be. The way I related with people or I relate with people didn't change. What I did in the house before I married has not changed. A lot of things about me, marriage has not changed me much. Maybe what I do is that I try to compromise to conform to some of the marriage principles in the house. But as a person, it has not changed me much when it comes to friendship or relationship. So if you have that kind of friendship, it gives you deep understanding of each other, which is very, very important. When you create that friendship relationship before marriage, it gives you very deep understanding of each other. Because already you were communicated, you knew your weaknesses, you knew your strengths. Last week, I was discussing a topic in my class and I was teaching my students the SWOT analysis of each other. Actually, how many marriages today can do the SWOT analysis of themselves? I tell you, there's this thing TV3 used to do. It takes two. Anyway, I bet you almost 80% of marriages, when they go to the fail. That it takes two. Because we have not created that deep understanding of each other. Trust and loyalty. When you have your wife as your friend, there's that kind of trust and loyalty. Okay, this is the best ingredients needed in marriage. I've been telling people that if you don't trust your spouse, you have no business being in that marriage. It means that marriage is that wobbling. So when you start trust and friendship, you create trust and loyalty, emotional comfort and support. Okay, this is where we take for granted. I believe a lot of crises in marriage start from this emotional disjoint between partners. Emotionally, we are not connected. I've been telling people that if you cannot understand the silence of your spouse, when he talks, you can also understand him or her. How many people, when their wife or husband are very silent or are not talking, they will understand the voice behind the silence. So that emotional support should be there if you are going to be created, if you have that friendship relationship before you marry. Both in fun and laughter. Fun and laughter. Because there are marriages that today, for almost 1 year, the woman has never seen the husband or the husband has never seen the woman laughing. If they smile on the face, it's a problem. But if your wife, you are able to create that friendship before you married, or you created that friendship before you married, because you know what friends are. That's what my brother tried to say. There are certain jokes you cannot crack in marriage and survive. There are certain jokes you overlook them. The one thing I like about Nigerians, which is not common in Ghana, because they can create this both in fun and laughter. You know, Nigerians can easily tease each other sensitive with some sensitive issues, and they'll laugh over it. A Nigerian can tell Afro women, and then comedy, Calabar women, all that they know is sex. And those people there will laugh and see it as themselves. Igbo people, if it comes to money, sex for an Igbo man, those kind of jokes, you should be able to create that kind of jokes in marriage, that related jokes. But today, there are some marriages you cannot do that. Then finally, resilience and familiarity. Look at the resilience. This work we are not able to go through. And that's what my brother tried to say. At the point that your marriage will hit the rock or you come to crisis state, how have you brought in that kind of conflict resolution theories in the marriage to be able to be very resilient, to go through what you are experiencing? So in short, that kind of friendship will make the marriage very stable. And when it comes to even crisis, you can surmount it.
Friendship in a marriage is an environment where a woman feels satisfied, she feels safe, she feels feels she can be anything she wants to be and still be accepted the way she wants to be accepted. It's a way where she can talk about her feelings and it will not be ignored. She feels she has a friend. It's a way where she's always in a hurry. I mean, she doesn't feel she has to go anywhere else to be fulfilled. She feels that being at home is enough. You see, that is where, in the homes where the friendship thrives, that is where when the one person is not around, you are checking on them to come home. Because you are in a hurry for them to come so that 18 years the mom, yes, and on the downside, it is also the one that the day I don't feel loved, your spouse can have the liberty to cheer you up, knowing that you are not going to flare up about certain things. You know, sometimes we even know our friends when we shouldn't talk to them. We know that, this one, you get out of it. We know that, this one, I have to apologize. We know them to the way that we know how to stimulate the apology for it to be accepted. We know to know that they have been hurt. But even then, I've hurt him, he doesn't feel loved, but he's still my friend in that way. See, forgiveness comes in that with our friends. I don't know why, but in marriages, forgiveness is very difficult. The reason being that when there is an offense, each partner thinks not at the friendship level, but at the higher level. I'm the man, I'm the husband, I am the this, therefore you should have accorded me respect. You see, this is the same man who was laughing, cracking jokes, whatever it is, but when an offense comes, sometimes we move from the friendship zone and we want to sit, you go to sit on the stool of, I'm the man of the house, I'm the husband of the whatever. And the danger is also that because we have been so much friends, we are thriving, we are vibing at the friendship level, it brings that kind of relaxation. One thing, many people assembly anyone say catch your spouse. You want to say why then? Waka. In secrecy, the man may not bother, or the woman may not bother a name or something you have called him. But as soon as it probably in public, you have a pet name you call your husband, which is very funny, probably from a TV or something you have watched together, you use. But you become so relaxed to the environment that the respect and cordiality that is supposed to exist between the two of you, you forget about it. Then you cross boundaries. Sometimes the same friendship that was making the marriage thrive becomes the thing that crashes the love that exists. So a good relationship that has friendship at its core means that there is no problem you can resolve. There is no challenge you can overcome, because the foundation is good. You have the trust that he will come back. You have the trust that he will do this. You have the trust that even what he said, he doesn't meant it. It was just a joke. You have the trust that even if he meant it, he will come back to his senses and come and apologize. In that order. So, depending on the level of friendship, and I'm saying this with all caution, that it doesn't mean that all relationships and marriages have that A-class friendship. No. Sometimes the kind of friendship you can have in your marriage is the boss and the worker kind of friendship. Your boss gives you instruction, you adhere to it, sometimes whether you like it or not, you do it. Sometimes we crack jokes with the same boss, but we know the kind of jokes we are supposed to what? Crack with our bosses. We know certain lines we don't cross. Some people, that is how they have. The only thing they were able to build in their relationship, and they took it into marriage, so it will run out. If you want something to change in that, then you must build a kind of friendship that you want. But it is difficult. It's difficult to build a friendship you never had in a marriage after you have done that. It becomes only the foundation that you are building on. So a good marriage with that kind of friendship, that is how it exists. People talk, they laugh, they share things. There is limited secrecy. And here I'm saying that you have understood the kind of information your friends, in quotes, your lover friend can accommodate. So there is limited secrecy. If the person has the capacity to accommodate all the good and bad, then you will feel so comfortable dumping everything on them that you don't even have the need to talk to anybody outside. But immediately you have the capacity to dump, but your friend can accommodate such a little, then it means that you need extra space outside to dump the case. So yes, a healthy friendship in marriage is a place where you can't imagine the kind of happiness you can't imagine. That is when people become jealous. Hey, as for you and your husband there, you are like brothers. As for you and your husband there, look at, is it your husband you are behaving this way with? Then you tell them, oh, don't worry. For us there, in that sense, it's something people really admire. In fact, sometimes you will not even say it. People are going to tell you, if you are a true friend to your husband, people are going to attest to that.
How does not being friends, how can it affect your marriage? As a couple, you are not friends in the house, just a serious business. And I'm fooling you. Else we are both come up one to the next one to come here. So not being friends. I've heard this thing from a lot of people. We are new people and I'm in the international monk, the book of work I've heard this over and over again. So how does not being friends affect? How can it affect marriage?
But somebody that use money or spend money to marry the Indian, when they are saying, we are living with them. Now living with them, they see to with them. It will plan most marriages, money that activities. That's why it was something that attracted me. That's why when you were cultivated something, not friendship, but nothing else. And at the point, those things will people. It's not a friendship rather than marriage. You see that marriage is short with the man of the woman at the point of advance or to increase. That position that you have an position, you will not be attracted to the people. If it is the beauty, the color, the soul, what to do. If it is a skin, you must not know that you like that. Children are children. When they call the crew and go to get together, this is that time, and then you go on. Over time, so that lady you saw 5 years, 10 years back when they dressed in a shop, at a point taken into Facebook. That's car you saw that was visited people. So the only thing that was marriage is making it a friendship. And my friend talked about things in that. Because you have a lot of friends in marriage with some techniques of our spouses. Or you put it up. My uncles and I don't say a person with papa. Before Okina was papa. You have never bathed in their spouse, though they have a bathroom in the room. They've never done that. Bathing together. Yes, at least for once they say. And at a point they just so these are some of the ingredients. It can be the first department that will suffer. And I always say is the issue of sex. When you marry somebody that you are not attracted or that kind of friendship is not there. But when sex happens, and that kind of you can't have sex for that sex. That's why I told me that. So I don't have sex with my wife because we are married. This is my wife.
Let me give you
Yes.
When you are friends and you are having sex and sister able to and you pick the wrong hole, it's like, what we are doing. But if you are not friends and you pick the wrong hole, the only man you can get away with it. You don't want to say when you are well, that's the difference. And the enjoyment, even the acting of it, lie down, be alright. My friends, who will come home with the class, they like the interest of it. Yeah.
Everyone is all that in the way.
That kind of sex. It's no longer making money. And you know, at that point, that kind of friendship is like, you know that kind of stress. And you have to make stress. Some people should like that. Like that. Other captain on
Major.
Love is there on the line. Captain is the way. Major is not like that. When we start addressing you as captain,
Captain, what do I do?
captain is the way. And Major is not like that. It's not only because always basically the captain of life is the major. So sometimes issues of mental health Children wake up and they were wailing because they see their fathers. They were wailing. I've never seen that before. They move very early. Come back late when the child is sleeping. Go early. I woke up from
the same thing that happens to friends. If you say your husband is your friend, then the same thing that happens to friends will happen to you in your marriage. Only this time there are two folds to the challenge. The fold is husband and wife, then the other side is being friends. Lack of money can happen to you. If you know we have some friends, as long as we have money, they are our friends. And as long as the money is not there, they are not our friends. They are there. So if that was the kind of relationship that you people had, then as soon as you enter into the marriage and money is not there, the friendship will be shaken. That friendship that exists will be shaken. And there will be a whole lot of magana. And sometimes, somebody not listening. You are the type who wants your partner to listen to you, but he doesn't even care about listening. Just listen. He prefers you have to tell other friendship foundation in the marriage is not strong enough, then if the fundamentals are weak, the exchange will expose you.
Which one is going to expose you? The fundamental.
Friendship is weak, yes. The wahala, the wahala.
If the fundamental is weak,
So, if the fundamentals are weak, then you surely will be exposed. Yes, we have just 6 minutes to go on the show. We have just 6 minutes to go. So let me give Kawawa 3 minutes, give Titus also 3 minutes. Okay. Oh, we know I'm in the other corner. Let me just take one. I'll just take this one. Yeah, hello. Good evening.
Simon from Kumwele.
Okay, Simon, reduce the volume of your set. We're getting feedback.
I want to find out
Yes.
can a friendship lead to joint account? Thank you.
Can friendship lead to joint account?
Yes. That's the highest form of trust. Thinking that you will not waste my money, I will not waste my money.
any marriage that has gone to that level, I have respect for them. Though I have my own philosophy about joint account, but for every couple to be able to, do that, I give them 21 service. Is the highest form of trust you can have in marriage. I remember that I sold a plot to one man, and they signed, and asked me we should go to the house, and the wife was countersigned. And since then I've respected the guy a lot. We went and the wife countersigned the check, and I went and we did. So
let's take this and then finish it. Hello.
Good evening, Mama Ekeli.
Good evening, Papa G.
Good evening, Mr. Kawawa, and then the other panelists. Our Samuel, you make us remember our old stories. During the COVID, I was not well. I went in and I was told that I had COVID. So I sent my wife, they checked and said she has no COVID. We got back home and she said then I have to change a room. I said, what? But both of us were on the same bed, and then the day break, I went out when I was not well. And I went and they said I had COVID. And when I went and tested, they said you don't have the COVID. So why should we separate the bed? And I have to go and sleep in a different place, and then she also sleep in a different place. I said, wow. Tuesday night, I was with you in the bed, and then Wednesday morning, they diagnosed me to have COVID. So that Wednesday, I have to sleep in a different room, and you sleep in a different room. But if it was to get to you, I'm getting it. So, in fact, I sat down and I asked myself, so had it been that I died, that means she would have run away and left my body. So sometimes these things, they really test our relationship. And when you want to hear most of this, is post-marital counseling that you get to hear a lot. Because what they used to do before they married, I think after 1 year, those things may not even happen until maybe they all died or one partner died leaving the other. Like bathing together, or just look at your face and say, oh, you look beautiful, or you give her a peg. And there are some things that I cannot even mention. And during post-marital counseling, I'm telling you what members tell you, if you don't take care, you ask.
So when you were courting, when you were dating, or when you married freshly, did you know anything of that? And he said, yes. Oh, you should do this, she carried me at the back, but since after marriage, so it's different ball game. Although they were talking, out of 100 marriages, you may not get 10 that will still maintain what they used to do before they got married. Almost 90 to 90% of marriages, what you do when you were there, courting, or you got to know, you bath together, you do this together, you eat together. After marriage, Master, it's a different ball game together. Thank you. That's what I was saying, that the Greek call it the agape love, not the highest form of love, the unconditional. I know some women have bothered unless the man is no, it's a health issue. So women would have been forcing to still sleep with you. But this one is psychological. The person didn't.
Because the common time, maybe. That's
friendship is the building blocks for every marriage. And as my brother started with, is the foundation for every marriage. And even we are also relationship before marriage. You realize that when you are in the relationship, because at that point you are fixated with that issue of friendship. There are a lot of things they can do in common. Sometimes you eat together. During the courting stage, there are situations when you are doing cohabitation, you bath together. Even sometimes if they can do with apology, if your partner fluctuates, it becomes joyous. When we tumble, we have into a cowboy. When we joke, when the friendship is not there, we do that. So in scientists believe that when that thing is happening in marriage, it prolongs your lives. It prolongs your life. So those things that we used to do when we were physically in love, or let me say during the dating and courting, we should continue the same things in marriages. With the compliments we used to give when we were dating or courting, those compliments should still continue in marriage, because friendship is based on compliments.
Okay.
So if you are lacking in the marriage or relationship, it means what is cap or whatever come from. It means the person you are living with is just like your enemy, and there's no any worse relationship it can be than living with somebody, or living with your enemy, or somebody that the issue of trust and that friendship and that proof is not in the marriage.
Okay. That is.
Well, if your friendship fundamentals are weak,
What in the exposure?
life challenges will expose you. I think those of you who didn't have the opportunity to build friendship to a certain level, you can still get there one way or the other. It's difficult, yes, very. It's still achievable, but you can try. The next thing is evaluate the capacity of your spouse and the level of friendship they can accommodate, and don't overburden them more than what they accommodate. If they can accommodate your jokes, look at the level of jokes they can accommodate, so you don't overburden them. If they can't accommodate certain nasty things about you, don't overburden them, thinking that if they can't accommodate that, you have not done it, you want to do it. As I said, you can't have what you have not built.
Okay.
So just make use of what you have built, and be cautious in implementing or putting something new into the system, so that you don't just all of a sudden crumple the whole situation or the whole thing. Yes, if your spouse is your friend to a certain level, just make use of the level of friendship you have, and make sure that even at any level you can still have a sort of excitement in your marriages. That's all.
At that level, I wanted to say you can also start with gifts. Maybe once a while moving out or traveling together. If there are comedy shows, you can start going for those comedy shows where the two of you will laugh together, and when you come home, sometimes those laughter comedy scenes that made you to laugh, they repeat itself in the house. You should have a child in the house who, when it creates fun, the two of you can laugh together. Once a while, let the child be in the midst of you to create fun, and the two of you will laugh together, create that. But you know, children at a point, especially when they are young, they can bridge the gap between that kind of acrimony that was in the family. And in short, let me say a shout out to my girlfriend and mother, Madam Alimata. Madam Alimata, the sweetheart in Kunku, good evening, and to Mrs. Akandi, and to all masters of Ghana Senior High School. Some of my students, those students will come and tell me, Master, the head of you, and to all my students in Ghana School, and to my wife, Janona, and once again to all our Muslim brothers and sisters. bank and the seller, I believe by tomorrow they need to flow very well. It was quickly see the drift of it. Bring on it. One Malam said that the meat, the bulk of it should go out. They should distribute it to friends and neighbors. Then I said louder. I said the dollar should increase the volume.
Okay, so thanks very much.
To Madam Victoria Sai, it's a long time, this is telling you know, the last time you were fine. I hope you are strong and healthy.
Okay, strong and healthy. Thanks very much for joining us this evening as we discussed friendship as the heart of a thriving marriage. Friendship as the heart of a thriving marriage. So authentic friendship can definitely fuel marital love, joy, emotional intimacy, spiritual unity, and resilience across seasons of life. So build that friendship in your marriage. So in case of anything, the friendship that you have been pushing the marriage. So please let us build that friendship in marriages. It can be cultivated. If it is not there, you can still cultivate that friendship. So thanks so much to Titus saying relationship expert counselor and counselor as well, and also Sulemana Rashid Sulemana Kawawa, history pastor at Ghana Senior High School, also a researcher. Anytime he talks, you know he's definitely a researcher and entrepreneur and a business. What stands to put in happy for the Facebook Live. To all those who watch us on Facebook, we say God bless you so much. All those who listen and those who call, we say thanks and God bless you so much. See you, God willing, next week as we continue with the series of friendship in marriage, or marriage and friendship. Will continue with that next week.